People love to throw around the phrase, money is the root of all evil, like it's a hard fact carved in stone. But let me tell you something, that's not what the scripture says, and that's not even the truth. The real danger isn't money itself, it's not knowing how to handle it. Money is just a tool, it's like a hammer. A hammer can build a house or break a window. It depends on whose hands it's in and what they know how to do with it. If you're broke and don't understand how money works, you're going to blame it for your problems. But the truth is, the enemy isn't the dollar bill, it's the ignorance wrapped around it. Most people are playing the money game without even knowing the rules. Imagine sitting at a poker table and everybody knows the rules except you. Guess who's losing every round? You. Not because the cards are against you, but because you don't even know how to read your hand. That's exactly how life works. If you don't know how to earn money, manage it, and make it grow, you're just a pawn in someone else's game. You're working for money instead of having money work for you. The wealthy don't have a secret fountain of cash hidden somewhere. What they have is knowledge, the kind of knowledge that most of us were never taught at home or in school. They understand things like compound interest, cash flow, assets versus liabilities. They know the power of investing early, living below their means, and using debt as a tool instead of a trap. Meanwhile, the average person is stuck thinking money is something you just trade for bills and survival. That's why ignorance is the real curse. It keeps you stuck in a cycle where you're always hustling but never arriving. Here's the truth. Money magnifies who you already are. If you're generous, more money will let you bless even more people. If you're careless, more money will just speed up the damage. That's why learning is more important than earning at the start. You can win the lottery tomorrow, but if you don't understand budgeting, taxes, and investments, you'll be back where you started, and maybe worse. In fact, studies show most lottery winners go broke within a few years, not because the money was bad, but because the habits were. Ignorance doesn't just keep you broke. It steals your options. When you don't know how money works, you live life on defense. You're taking whatever jobs you get instead of creating opportunities. You're settling for bad deals because you don't even know what a good deal looks like. You're letting companies, banks, and credit card companies profit off your lack of knowledge. It's like being in a maze without a map, wondering why you keep hitting dead ends. Now here's where the mindset shift comes in. The moment you start treating money like a skill instead of a mystery, you take control. Money management is not some elite knowledge reserved for the rich. You can learn it. You can teach yourself to budget. You can understand investing with free resources. You can learn how to build credit the right way, how to use debt strategically, and how to make your money earn while you sleep. Every skill you add is another way ignorance loses its grip on you. You have to make a decision to stop being a pawn and start being a player. Pawns move one square at a time, doing all the hard work and getting sacrificed first. Players, the ones who understand the game, know how to protect their assets, how to position themselves for opportunities, and how to turn small moves into big wins. And the beautiful thing, you don't have to be born rich to play like one. You just have to be willing to learn what they know and apply it with discipline. Breaking the chains of ignorance is more than just a personal victory. It's how you change your family's future. When you learn how money works, you don't just help yourself, you set a new standard for everyone after you. You stop the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. You pass down habits instead of hand-me-down problems. You build something worth handing over, and you make sure your children start on a higher level than you did. That's how you break generational curses, not just with hard work, but with smart work fueled by understanding. So the next time someone tells you money is the root of all evil, tell them the truth. Ignorance is the real enemy. Learn the game, master the rules, and start playing to win. Because when you do, money stops being a problem and starts being a powerful tool. And that's when you stop surviving and start living. If you want, I can now expand the second keynote. You can't multiply what you mismanage in the same 700-word Steve Harvey style, so it fits perfectly with this one. That way, your full speech will stay consistent and powerful. Everybody wants more money. Ask anybody on the street, you want a raise, you want a bonus, you want a little extra on the side. Nobody's going to say no. But here's the part most people don't want to hear. More money doesn't fix bad money habits. If you can't keep 100 in your pocket without it disappearing, what you think is going to happen when you get 10,000, the same holes in your financial bucket are still there. You're just pouring more water into it. And that means you're going to end up broke, just on a bigger stage with bigger bills and bigger headaches. See, people confuse multiplication with magic. They think that if they just get more, life will automatically get better. But if you don't manage the little you have, the more you get is just more to lose. It's like planting seeds in rocky soil. No matter how many seeds you throw down, nothing's going to grow if the ground isn't ready. Management is the preparation. It's the skill that makes multiplication possible. Without it, you're just spinning in circles, working harder for the same results. Let's be real. If you're living paycheck to paycheck right now, the problem isn't always how much you make, it's how much you keep and how much you waste. I know that sounds harsh, but I've seen people triple their income and still end up in debt because their spending habits grew faster than their paychecks. The more they made, the more they convinced themselves they deserved to spend. New clothes, new gadgets, eating out every night, until one day they're sitting at the kitchen table, looking at the bills, wondering how they make so much and still have nothing left. That's why I always say money is a test. If you can't handle 100 wisely, why would you be trusted with 10,000? If you can't save a portion of a small paycheck, how will you save when you've got a big one? In fact, the bigger the amount, the bigger the temptations, the bigger the mistakes, and the faster the fall if you're not ready. And when you fall from higher up, trust me, it hurts a whole lot more. Managing money isn't about being cheap or living like you're broke forever. It's about discipline. It's about telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. That means budgeting, tracking your expenses, and setting priorities before you spend. It means learning to delay gratification, holding off on buying something now so you can invest in something that will pay you later. It's about separating needs from wants and being honest with yourself about which is which. Here's the good news: management is a skill you can learn. You don't have to be born with it. Start small. Practice keeping a certain percentage of your income no matter what. Build the habit of saving before you spend. Learn to budget in a way that works for your life, not some complicated spreadsheet you'll never open, but a simple, realistic plan you can stick to. Once you've mastered that with small amounts, you'll be ready for bigger ones. And when those bigger amounts come, you won't just have more money, you'll know exactly how to multiply it. The other thing about mismanagement is that it doesn't just waste money, it wastes opportunities. I've seen people get business loans and blow it on things that had nothing to do with their business. I've seen folks get a lump sum from a settlement or inheritance and treat it like free play money. Then a year later, they're right back where they started. The money wasn't the problem. The problem was they weren't ready to manage it. Opportunity is like a train. It pulls up to the station, but if you're not ready to get on, it will leave without you. Multiplication comes after mastery. You can invest, you can grow a business, you can build wealth, but only if you've proven you can handle what you already have. Think of it like weightlifting. If you can't lift 20 pounds with good form, you're not ready to jump to 200. You build your strength with what's in your hands now, so when more comes, you're ready to carry it without dropping it. The bottom line is to stop chasing more until you can master enough. If you make $500 a week, learn how to manage that like a millionaire would. Track it, save it, stretch it, and invest it wisely, because when you can manage the small amounts with excellence, you'll be trusted by life, by opportunity, and by yourself to handle the larger amounts without losing them. And that's when multiplication becomes possible. So remember, the secret isn't just to make more money. The secret is to manage it so well that when more comes, it multiplies instead of vanishes. Because if you can't keep 100, you'll lose 10,000. But if you can manage 100 like it's 10,000 one day, you'll wake up and realize it actually is. If you want, I can now expand your third keynote, break the curse, by changing the conversation in the same 700-word tone so your entire speech flows like one connected Steve Harvey-style masterclass. If you grew up in a family where every dinner table conversation was about how hard life is, how money doesn't grow on trees, and how people like us just don't get ahead, it's time to rewrite that script. You can't keep repeating the same story and expect a different ending. Words create beliefs, and beliefs shape actions. If the only money talk you ever heard was about struggle, then it's no surprise that struggle became the family tradition. But here's the good news: you have the power to break that curse, and it starts with changing the conversation. See, poverty isn't just about empty wallets. It's empty ideas. Generational poverty survives because the mindset that fuels it gets passed down like an old family recipe. Don't take risks. Play it safe. Just get a job and be grateful. Now, there's nothing wrong with hard work. In fact, it's essential. But if hard work is the only ingredient in your recipe, you're going to end up tired, not wealthy. Wealth comes from pairing hard work with smart decisions. And those smart decisions start with the conversations you're having at home. When you change the conversation, you change the possibilities. Instead of talking about what you can't do, start talking about what you can. Talk about investing, not just saving for emergencies, but putting money in places where it can grow. Talk about owning things instead of renting everything. Talk about starting businesses, buying real estate, learning skills that make you money even when you're asleep. Talk about how money works so the next generation doesn't have to figure it out the hard way. The wealthy talk differently. When they sit around the table, they're not discussing who got a raise at work. They're talking about returns on investments, opportunities in the market, business ideas, and strategies for minimizing taxes legally. Their children grow up hearing these things, so by the time they're adults, they already know the game. Meanwhile, in too many households, the conversation is only about how to stretch a paycheck until Friday. It's no wonder the gap stays wide. You can't pass down wealth if you never pass down wisdom. You might not be able to give your children $1 million right now, but you can give them the knowledge to earn it themselves. Teach them how credit works. Teach them how to budget. Show them how compound interest can turn small amounts into big amounts over time. Expose them to people who are living the life you want them to live so they can see that it's possible. Because if the only examples they see are struggling, they'll think struggle is normal. Now, changing the conversation doesn't mean ignoring reality. If bills are due, talk about it, but don't stop there. Don't just say, we're broke. Say, here's the plan to fix it. If something's unaffordable right now, don't say, we can't have it. Say, let's figure out how we can afford it. That little shift in language teaches problem solving instead of resignation. It changes the family identity from victims of circumstance to creators of opportunity. And don't wait until the kids are grown to start. These conversations need to happen early and often. Let your children sit with you when you pay bills so they understand the process. Let them watch you save and invest so they see the habit in action. Give them a small allowance and teach them to divide it into spending, saving, and giving. The goal isn't just to hand them money someday. It's to hand them the skills to manage and multiply it on their own. If your family has lived with the belief that rich people are greedy or money changes people, challenge that thinking. Explain that money doesn't change who you are. It reveals who you are. If you're generous, more money makes you more generous. If you're selfish, more money makes you more selfish. The problem isn't the money, it's the mindset. And you can choose a mindset that uses money as a tool for good. Breaking a generational curse takes courage because you're going against the grain. You might get resistance. People might say you've changed or that you think you're better than them. Ignore it. They're seeing you do something different and it's making them uncomfortable, but that discomfort is exactly what wakes people up. When they see you living better, owning your time, building assets, and teaching your children different values, someone will want to know how you did it. That's when you share not just your story, but your strategy. The truth is, the curse ends when the conversation changes, and you are the one who can change it. You can replace "we can't afford it" with "let's build it." You can replace "life is hard" with "we're getting better every day." You can replace "that's just the way things are" with "this is how we make things different." When you speak a new vision into your family, you start creating it, and when you live it out, you make sure the next generation never has to start from scratch again. If you want, I can now combine all 3 expanded sections into one complete Steve Harvey style speech that flows as a single motivational talk from start to finish. That way it reads like a powerful keynote instead of 3 separate parts.